What if the past wasn't silent? What if the ancient civilizations of America had soundscapes, haunting, powerful, and intentional, that filled their temples, canyons, and ceremonies? We think of pyramids, mounds, and petroglyphs, but we often forget the music, from deep-bone flutes echoing in the desert to clay whistles shaped like jaguars. The first Americans crafted instruments not just to entertain, but to speak to gods, to guide spirits, and to shape the invisible world. Today, we're uncovering the long-lost instruments of ancient America and the forgotten meanings behind their music. High in the ruins of Broken Flute Cave, archaeologists found bird-bone flutes over 200 years old, still playable. These flutes were made by the ancestral Puebloans. Crafted with precision, tuned to a 5-note scale, they weren't crude toys. They were sacred tools. In Central America, the Maya and Aztec made ocarinas, small clay instruments shaped like animals, humans, even gods, each with its own tone, its own spirit. Some were meant to mimic jaguar growls or bird calls, maybe to confuse enemies in battle, or to commune with the spirit world. Even the positioning of holes on these instruments hints at deep knowledge of sound, perhaps linked to lunar cycles, ritual dances, or oral storytelling. These weren't just instruments. They were ancient keys to altered states, ceremony, and control. When the drumbeat began, time itself changed. In the southeast, rattles made from turtle shells, gourds and bone created rhythm in stomp dances and fertility rituals. Some were worn, others shaken, each producing a layered soundscape of earth and sky. Massive drums, sometimes over 3 feet wide, were struck during ceremonies calling down rain, guiding the sun, or invoking ancestral power. And then there were the slit drums, carved wooden logs with hollow chambers, struck to send vibrations for miles. Used across Central and South America, these drums communicated messages, summoned villages, and marked the presence of sacred rites. Percussion wasn't background, it was the heartbeat of ancient America. But above all instruments, one held ultimate power: the human voice. Chants were passed from generation to generation, not written down, but remembered through ceremony. Some chants were sung during healing rituals, others during hunting journeys. Some, according to legend, were sung only once, then never again. The voice was believed to hold spiritual energy. To name a thing was to give it power. Paired with drums or flutes, chants became portals. Sound became spell. And in many cultures, these chants weren't composed. They were received, given in dreams, visions, or during vision quests atop mountains and inside caves. Architecture amplified music. At Chaco Canyon, kivas, circular ceremonial chambers, have perfect acoustic properties. A whispered chant could be heard by dozens. Temples were designed with echo chambers. Walls reflected sound in ways we're only beginning to understand. In Mesoamerica, the Pyramid of Kukulkan at Chichen Itza creates the sound of a quetzal bird when you clap at its base. Coincidence? Or intentional sonic engineering? Across the Americas, music wasn't just played, it was woven into stone, into place, into sacred geometry. Where you stood, how you moved, and what you heard was all part of the experience. Sound was sacred. Space was an instrument. Today, many of these instruments have been silenced, but some have been reborn. Modern indigenous musicians are recreating bone flutes, clay ocarinas, and hide drums, reviving chants once thought lost, bringing back ceremonies that echo across centuries. And as they do, we're hearing the past, not as myth, not as ruins, but as vibration, rhythm, and breath. Imagine a procession through the forest. drums echoing like thunder, flutes singing above the wind, voices rising in harmony with the stars. This was ancient America, not a land of silence, but a symphony of meaning. And its echoes are still out there, waiting to be heard.